Hey, what's up, goal reachers, dream catchers, and lifestyle giants? Welcome to the Win on Purpose podcast. It's where we make winning a habit, losing prehistoric, and we aim to live our very best lives every singular day. So now, we are 3 months into 2019. This is the month of March 2019, and I hope that everyone is still holding down their goals and sticking to the things that you set out to accomplish this year. But if not, don't worry, you still have 9 months to make it happen, and that's plenty of time. So my advice to you is to make it happen. Go get them lists, dust off the cobwebs, blow off the dust, and let's make it happen. Let's get her done. So on today's podcast, we're going to call out some simple but some very successful culprits to killing dreams. So today's podcast title is Dream Killers. And I know I've been gone for a while, so I'm not going to prolong the time. So let's not waste any more time. Let's dive right in. So the first dream killer that I want to bring our attention to is very common, but it can also disguise itself in many forms. And sometimes we don't recognize it immediately when it shows up. This dream killer's name is distraction. The first dream killer that we're going to talk about today is the dream killer called distraction. And it's so easy to fall prey to distractions in the age that we live in because we have more technology and more access to the world than any other generation that has lived on this planet. And not only do we have things like social media, Netflix, Amazon, work, our personal lives, socializing, and all these other things that come in and take our focus away, but we also are a society that is constantly evolving and changing and growing. And although those things are great, it can also be a huge distraction to people who are trying to do more in life, be better in life, and build businesses and do their own thing and build their dreams. And there are so many things and people vying for our attention. It can be challenging to focus on just one thing, more or less just focus solely on our dreams that we're trying to accomplish. Leadership and personal mastery specialist Robin Schwarmer says, "Your life is too important to give it to distractions." Your life is too important to give it to distractions. Now think about it. How many of us can truly say we can sit in a room for an hour without grabbing at our phone every minute to check emails and text messages or social media or have the TV going or have some music going? Like, our minds are constantly flooded with content and information. I remember growing up, when it would storm, like when it would rain and there was like thundering and lightning, my mom was the type that would shut everything off. Everything but the refrigerator. Like everything that was running had to turn off. The lights, the AC, the TVs, the clocks, like everything just had to be shut down. She's like, electricity draws heat and heat draws lightning and so on and so forth. I used to be petrified when she told us that. But those times when she would turn everything off and the house was quiet, our family would come together in the living room and open the door and lay down on the floor, and we would just talk and sing or just listen to the rain and look outside the door. And I remember those times of just solitude and just quiet and just being able to spend time with my family. And during those times, I didn't realize it then, but we were creating memories and we were bonding together, and it was a beautiful thing. But today, quiet and alone time has become non-existent. It's like we're too afraid to sit in peace and quiet because we're afraid of what may come up. The past hurts that we've tried to ignore for years. The past demons that we never actually dealt with. And actually having to deal with our insecurities and the areas that we find are lacking in our lives. And all these things can be quite scary to face. I will be the first person to admit that those things can be scary to face. And our way of dealing with it is to keep ourselves preoccupied. We like to believe that being busy is synonymous with being productive. But I guarantee you, if we reevaluate our schedules, we will find that there are several things that can be cut out. And we wouldn't even miss it. Or if we miss them, it'll be short-term withdrawal that we'll face. And we won't even think about it anymore. Playwright and director Lorraine Hansberry was quoted as saying, "Never be afraid to sit a while and think." Never be afraid to sit a while and think. And some people's schedule is their greatest distractor. And so we need to ask ourselves 3 very important questions. I want you to ask yourself these 3 questions, especially with regards to your schedule and the things that you have planned daily or weekly. The first one, what do I really need to do? What do I really need to do? What do I need to let others do? What do I need to let others do? And last, what doesn't need to be done at all? What doesn't need to be done at all?
Let's go.
So distractions also come in the form of people. Some of our so-called friends are nothing more than distractions. And if we are honest with ourselves, we will see half the people that we call friends are not even people that truly want to see us succeed. Many of them are people hanging around waiting to see what's going to happen because they think you might blow up one day. And I've said this before, and I believe it. Somebody listening, you know you have some people that are just hanging around, just waiting to see, oh, they might blow up. So let me just kind of stay in the number. But no. And some of them are spies for your enemies. And others are just placeholders for when we want someone to hang out with. And if we are real with ourselves, we can admit that true friends challenge us. True friends demand more from us. True friends are going to tell us the truth even when we don't want to hear it. And here's how we can tell if a person is a true friend. 1, they require us to rise to a certain level. 2, they demand that we give our best to our dreams and our aspirations. 3, they encourage and uplift us. 4, they are not constantly running back telling us what negative things other people have said about us. 5, they are not trying to compete with us. 6, they tell us the truth even though it may be hard to hear, yet they tell us the truth in love. And you can clearly tell when a person is telling you something to help you versus hurt you. All the time, it's not an easy pill to swallow when we hear negativity. I know, like Jeremy and I, we used to get into it all the time because like he would get mad that I would get mad when he told me something that he didn't like that I would do. And then like I told him, I was like, I don't like to hear when somebody tell me something that I don't like I'm doing something wrong. I don't like to hear that. I'm not going to be smiling in your face and happy and like, oh, okay, let's go get popcorn. No, I don't like to hear that. So I'm not going to be happy to hear that. I'm going to be mad and in my feelings for a minute, but be okay with that. Give me a minute to get out of my feelings and then I can process what you said. And 90% of the time I've had to agree with him. He was right. Yeah, so when they're telling us this truth, and they're telling us this truth in love, yeah, it may rub you the wrong way, but be man and woman enough to give yourself time to process it. Don't blow up. Don't get out of pocket with nobody. Just, bite your tongue, give yourself to process it, because more often than not, you'll find that what they're telling you is the truth, and it's a truth that you've tried to ignore. If everyone in your circle agrees with you all the time, and you rarely or never hear, maybe you should rethink that idea. Then you need to upgrade your circle. Prime example, Mr. R. Kelly. Y'all knew he was going to come up. You knew he was going to come up. The topic of 2019, R. Kelly. Now, if you listen to interviews from people that have been around him, many of them have said the exact same things. They say he had a lot of yes people around him. People that would do whatever he wanted, whenever he wanted. And he didn't have a lot of objective voices providing him with sound advice. And look where that got him. And if you don't know what's going on with him, Google it. There's a ton of information out there available. I don't have time to get into it today. But a quote by an unknown person says, if you lose a friend because you're honest, they weren't a good friend. If you lose a friend because you're honest, they weren't a good friend. And there's no better time than today to get rid of people that are not pushing you towards your dreams and your future. So 2019 is the year that we decide to be better and do better. And for many of us, that starts with not returning some phone calls and text messages, blocking some people on social media, or even blocking some people from your phone, and just completely disappearing from some folks. I mean, just make them think that you fell off the face of the flat earth. Now, I'm not a fan of ghosting people by any means, but we just gotta be real. Some people are not worth a goodbye conversation, because you already know where it's going to go. You already know it's going to lead to drama and them going and tell and twisting what you said. And, nobody wants to hear you're not good for me. Just think if one of your friends came to you and said, hey, listen, we can't be friends anymore. You're not good for me. I don't like this. You don't want to hear that. You don't want to hear that. But some people, if you were close with them and you had like that relationship where you guys could be open with each other, it may be time to tell them, listen, we just need to spend some time apart. Like, you go get yourself together in your corner. I'll go get myself together in my corner. And if it's the universe, we'll come back together at a later date. But those types of conversations can't be with everybody. If it's someone that's not in your inner circle and somebody that's not valuable and important in your life, just disappear. Thank me later. You will. You'll thank me later. So another dream killer that we encounter is disbelief and unbelief in ourselves. I cannot tell you the number of people that I've talked to and spent time with that have a wealth of wisdom, knowledge, and great ideas that they're just sitting on. I mean, people that could write books and music and raps and poems and just have great ideas. I mean, things that would land them on the Times bestsellers list and the Billboard Top 100 charts and, all these other great accolades and awards that people that are getting it probably don't even deserve it and it's not even as good as them. But the difference is not the skill set. The difference in those people that have made it and the names that we know and the people that are highly creative and talented and the names we don't know, the difference is the ones that we don't know are the ones that don't believe that it's possible, or they don't value what they have, therefore they don't pursue it. They wave their knowledge and insight off thinking that, oh, this is nothing. I'm sure everybody knows that. But you would be surprised the things that people don't know. You will be extremely surprised at the things that people do not know. Just because something comes easy to you or an idea seems minuscule to you, that doesn't mean it wouldn't be something that would change other people's lives. And we don't believe that we have anything to offer the world. That's why we don't put anything out there for the world. We don't believe we can actually be successful. And sometimes we have to kind of tweak our idea of success. And I've said this because this is something that I am reminded myself of constantly. Success is not always about the millions of people that are attracted to you and giving you attention, because we see people that have all of the attention in the world. They have the attention of the world. They're still depressed. They're still lonely. They still feel like something is missing. They have all the money in the world, but they still feel like something is missing. But if you could save somebody's life, you could save 5 people's lives, would you let your voice be heard to save those 5 people's lives? If you can direct people to do the right things just by sharing your story, your personal story, would you do it? But think about this. What if Maya Angelou thought the same way? What if Maya Angelou was like, these are just my thoughts, my words, my poems. Nobody is really going to be impacted by what Maya Angelou, has to say. What if Serena Williams shrunk back in her sister's Venus shadow and thought, well, she's successful at tennis already. There's no black females in tennis anyway. So, why would I think that there would be 2 of us that could be successful tennis players? Maybe I should just go and sing or something. What if she thought that? What if Rihanna decided that since there are 1,000,001 makeup companies out there, why create another one? What if Cardi B didn't believe in herself and decided not to give music a try? What if she just saw herself as, hey, I'm just a stripper. I make nice money being a stripper, and this is just what I'm going to be for the rest of my life. She wouldn't have that Grammy today.
To this day.
Like, seriously.
To this day.
We will never know the potential difference we could make and the success we could have if we never try. I wrote a quote a while ago that says, if you don't give yourself a chance, it will never be your time. If you don't give yourself a chance, it will never be your time. And I know a lot of us are wondering when our time is coming. When will the stars align in my favor? When will the universe make my dreams a reality? And my question to you is, are you giving yourself a chance? Do you believe in you? Do you believe in your abilities? Are you dismissing what you are good at? Novelist Alice Walker says, the most common way people give up their power is by thinking they don't have any. The most common way people give up their power is by thinking they don't have any. And that starts with you valuing what you have enough to believe in yourself. You will never be able to sell a product to anyone until you first believe in it.
Let's go.
In 2016, I wrote this affirmation and I have reincorporated it in my life in 2019. And it says, I live a lifestyle that is sustainable. All my dreams are attainable. I keep my focus on Christ who leads and guides me so my mistakes are minimal. I cherish every moment in my life, the good, bad, and ugly. Every day I'm alive gives me an opportunity to become a better person. I will not reduce my standards to fit someone else's plans. I stand firm on my beliefs. Therefore, I live a life free of guilt and shame and filled with heavenly promises. My path is sure, my confidence is contagious, and I never lose. I use mistakes to show me better methods to accomplish my goals. And the first step in getting rid of disbelief and unbelief is to first change what we are telling ourselves. When those negative thoughts pop into our heads, we have to combat them with something. And it may not be a 10-sentence affirmation, but say something when the negativity comes to mind. Sometimes that stuff just pops out of nowhere. Like the other day I was driving and a thought popped into my head and it was like, maybe it's time to quit the podcast. I wasn't even thinking about this podcast. And I entertained it for like 5 seconds. Then I was like, you know what? I have too much on the line. I have a vision for this podcast that far exceeds where it is right now. And I'm not going to quit. I don't care if I have to take a 2, 3, 4, 5 month hiatus before a great idea comes for me to do this podcast. I am not quitting. I am not giving up. And if you don't quite believe in your dreams to that degree just yet, just say something positive until you believe it. Like write down a sentence, like something that you can say when those negative thoughts pop in your mind. Have something that you can say to combat it.
Let's go.
Now, distractions don't have to rule our lives. We don't have to give in to them. We don't have to bow down to them. And one way to fight the dream killer of distraction is to first determine the things that are taking away our focus. This may take scheduling some quiet time or some me time to figure things out. And this process should be ongoing. It's not something that we can do one time and think, hey, I'm on my way, I got it now. I heard the CEO of Chick-fil-A, Dan Cathy, say, nothing nourishes the soul like solitude. Nothing nourishes the soul like solitude. So schedule some time, monthly, weekly, or even daily to sit and reflect and game plan and just deal with our thoughts and emotions. It's essential to us attaining and maintaining our goals. And I want to challenge you to give it a try for 2 weeks. For 2 weeks, schedule some time either in the morning, plan to wake up 30 minutes to an hour early and let that be your reflection time, and do it before you pick up your phone, turn on the TV, or even get out of bed. And put a notepad near your bed so when you wake up you can grab it and just jot down your thoughts and plan out your day. And try not to use your phone because then you may get distracted by text messages and social media notifications. Let's go old school pen and paper. And if you're not a morning person, then use the time when you're in your car driving to and from work. Turn the radio off. Turn your recorder on your phone on and just start blabbing away. And it's okay to have your own therapy session. Many of us need it. I know I do. And we can also use this time to plan our days. We need to make sure that we are in control of our time and our days are not controlling us. Because when we operate like that, we find ourselves being unproductive and all over the place. There's a quote by an unknown person that says, without structure, focus is impossible. Without focus, structure is impossible. And maybe that's what a lot of us need, some structure in our lives. We spend 8 to 10 hours at work building other people's dreams. Why not give 1 to 2 hours of our time to our dreams? Sacrifice a little time in the morning or in the evening to make sure we don't let our dreams go lacking. Like I said previously, it's vitally important that we fight those inner negative thoughts with positive thoughts about ourselves and our goals. Don't allow negativity to go unchecked in our lives. And also removing people that are not good for us out of our lives is a great way to get rid of outward distractions. Even some of our jobs. If that job is not something that you see yourself doing for the next 5 to 10 years and you hate being there on a daily basis, use your scheduled quiet time to apply for new jobs. People be like, I want to apply for new jobs, but I don't have time. Schedule time in your life to apply for new jobs. Don't stay in a place that you hate. It does nothing but tear you down, and it's not good for your soul, and it's not good for your mind. Get out of there as soon as you can. Okay, so today's takeaways are: regularly schedule personal quiet time to reflect and meditate on things we desire. Evaluate our schedules and the people around us to see if they are good for us. Whatever is not productive and challenging, spend less time with it. Combat negativity with positivity all the time. Do not let your thoughts run rampant without putting the negative ones in check. If disbelief is an issue for you, say what you want to see until you believe it. So a recap of our quotes today. The first one by Robin Sharma says, your life is too important to give it to distractions. Director Lorraine Hansberry was quoted as saying, never be afraid to sit a while and think. The quote by the unknown person says, if you lose a friend because you are honest, they weren't a good friend. Quote number 3 by me, if you don't give yourself a chance, it will never be your time. Quote by Alice Walker says, the most common way people give up their power is by thinking they don't have any. Dan Cathy said, nothing nourishes the soul like solitude. And lastly, the quote by the unknown person says, without structure, focus is impossible. So thank you for tuning in to the Win on Purpose podcast. Make sure you share this with your friends and family. Tell them to tune in and listen so that they can be motivated, encouraged, and inspired by your girl vocals. I will be back in the next couple of weeks. I have already started on the second part to this podcast, Dream Killers. So make sure you go ahead and listen to this one. And the second one will be on the way shortly. All right. So be blessed. Have a wonderful week. And I will be connecting with you soon. It's your girl Vocals. I am signing off.